सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ कपिलाय नमस्तस्मै येनावेद्यो दधौ जगदिमग्ने कारुण्यात् साङ्ख्यमयी नौरिव विहिता प्रतरणाय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Second and 23rd Karika. So there are two types of evolution. One is called Bhava Srishti or intellectual evolution. That is starting from buddhi, the modification of Mahatat, and then elemental evolution. So after the intellectual evolution, there comes Ahankara. So Ahankara is the cause of elemental evolution. So here these Karikas are just mentioning the successive connection of elements and the intellect and its functions. So this is only that the mentioning of that, how this evolution happens, that's all. And after this we will have more discussion in connection with the karmas and its evolution. So when it with karma, how it happens, then we will know why this buddhi is called as buddhi, even though it is a great principle, and how the ahankara, the cause of elements, because ahankara, we see, is egoism or connected to mind. So how the mind creates these elements, this we will learn later, because after once this creation theory is completed, then they will start with the karmas. So we have seen 22nd and 23rd Karika. Now the Ahankara and its modification, 24th Karika. Abhimano hankarastasmad dividha pravartade sargaha. अभिमानो हंकारस्तस्माद् द्विविध प्रवर्तते सर्गः। एकादशकश्च गणहस्तन्मात्रपञ्चकं चैव एकादशकश्च गणहस्तन्मात्रपञ्चकश्चैव The ahankara is defined. Ahankaraha abhimana. Ahankara is abhimana. So, aham, when we say in Sanskrit, it is translated as self or I. Karaka means its own appearance. So it can be said that I principle or I-ness is called ahankara. Generally it is said that doership is called ahankara. So the doer is ahankarta. So ahankaraha, now what is this ahankara? Abhimana, just say abhimana. So abhimanaha. As we know, abhimana is, here it is said as consciousness, but it should be I consciousness. So one I is missing there. So abhimanaha, I consciousness. So when we are conscious about our own individuality, is called abhimana or self-assertion. Or when we feel abhimana, what actually happens is we are separating, or each individual is separating himself from others. So therefore, this separation, individualization, can be called as abhimana. Individualization. Individualization or individualization, self-assertion. So this is how this individuality, the individuality is the state of that experience when we separate ourselves from others. See, if we don't feel like separated from others, then this creation is one for all. The creation is single, and then it is everything for. What Sankhya says, when you separate yourself from others, you will have separate experience or individual experience of creation. So therefore, this is called abhimana and ahankara. Therefore, it is very difficult to understand, because normally when we talk about a personality or individual feeling, that I or I-ness is important there. So they say, if you are an individual, it means your creation is also individual. So that is the what is the secret behind this ahankara and abhimana. Then it is as individual level we say ahankara abhimana, but in cosmic level also it is called ahankara only. So cosmic egotism or egoism. So cosmic egotism is ahankara as whole is the cause of creation. So we can say I principle, because here we cannot go through the translation. As per the Sankhya is concerned, we cannot really translate what the ahankara is. Only we can define it. So if you say ahankara is a doership, there is no connection with the doership here. So therefore, as we said, Mahat Tattva as great principle, it is a development of Prakriti, the first development of Prakriti. Similarly, the second development of Prakriti and first development of great principle, that is Ahankara. So it can be called I principle, the I principle or I-ness. And this is also material cause. We are not talking about efficient cause of consciousness. This should not be confused with the consciousness we are talking about, because this is not connected to Purusha. It is a reflective consciousness, because from Mahatattva the reflective consciousness produces. So Mahatattva is a first reflective consciousness, because Prakriti in Mahat consciousness is reflected. So from that Ahankara comes. So therefore it is also material cause. It's not efficient cause. In many of the translation and commentaries of Sankhya, you will see this confusion, because the word is very much confusing. Unless you study the complete works of Kapila or with the Bhashyam of Kapila Sutras, it is very difficult to identify what this Ahankara is. So it is very clear here. We have to see it as a material cause only. But it is reflected material cause. Reflected, when we say that consciousness is reflected there. Because 20 Karika we have seen the reflection, the union of Prakriti and Purusha. So this has to be remembered for all this creation theory. So after this reflection, the first production as Mahat Tattva comes. That is what we saw in 23rd Karika, 22nd and 23rd Karika. So that was intellectual manifestation. So from the intellectual manifestation, and this manifestation comes as elemental manifestation. So both are here, elements and sense organs. So therefore it is also material cause. So abhimano ahankara, it's just the definition of ahankara. Now what is ahankara? Is abhimana, that's all. And what is abhimana? It can be translated as self-assertion, or as we say, I principle, or the individual stuff, whatever we can translate it. So that abhimana, ahankara, and from that tasma dividhaha pravartade sargaha. From this ahankara, twofold dividhaha sargaha pravart, twofold evolution is proceeded. Dividhaha pravartade sargaha. The sarga we know, evolution or creation, and dividhaha twofold, pravartade proceeds. And what are they two? Ekadashagascha ganaha. Ekadasha gana, the 11-fold set of 11-fold. So one set is produced, that is one gana with 11. So what are they? We know already. 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, 1 mind. So this is called gana. This all is connected to sense organs. Sense organs outside and mind. So altogether 11. So ekadashagascha ganaha. Tanmatra panchagascheva. Tanmatra, the 5-fold tanmatras. Tanmatra panchagascheva. And this is the creation from ahankara. So 11 plus 5, So we have 16. The 16 is the creation from Ahankara. That is what mentions here. Now we will try to identify this, what are these 16. We have a chart here, the next page. Ahankara. From Ahankara, we have three different activities of Ahankara, or three forms of Ahankara that will be discussed in next Karika. So Vaikritam, Taijasam and Bhutati. So the single Ahankara is divided into three by gunas. The first one is called Vaikritam. It is Sattika. And second one Taijasa, Rajasika, and Bhutati, Tamasika. These three terms, Vaikrita, Rajasika, Tejasa or Bhutati, these are all the terms for this creation. They just use this as, maybe it is used in all the textbooks of Sankhya, so therefore it is continued. The same meaning. Sattvika, it means Sattvika and Vaikrita is same. Tejasa and Rajasa is same. And Bhutati and Tamasa is same. So Vaikrita predominantly Sattvika. That is called basis of the evolutes. This is Vaikrita. Vikrita means evolutic. So the Vikara, when we say Vikara, there is some changes, some manifestation. So evolution is called Vikara. So which is connected to Vikara is Vaikrita. Now why this Sattvika is called Vaikrita? It is interesting to know, because after the reflection of consciousness, the first change or modification happens in Sattva only. Why? Because reflection comes to Sattva, the Sattva Guna, because only Sattva can carry the reflection. Therefore, the first modification happens in Sattva, therefore it is called Vaikrita. To little bit elaborate on this, we can take the example as Chittam. Chittam is also called Chittam because of Chit. The first reflection of Chit, where it happens, that substratum is called Chittam. So like we have mirror, only the mirror can reflect the light, or the same surface can reflect the light. Similarly, Sattva Guna can reflect the consciousness. And when the consciousness is reflected, evolution happens. It happens automatically. After the reflection, there is no action from consciousness. The reflection itself is revolution there. Therefore, it is called Vaikritam. So the Chittam is also Vaikritam. And here, the first manifestation is also Vaikritam. The Vaikrita, Sattvika. Is the basis of all evolution. That is why we give the definition as basis of the evolution. It is giving the correct meaning. It is not a translation. Okay, from this Vaikrita, the Sattvikam, it comes, we can divide this Sattvikam into three levels. For the sake of understanding, the Sattvikam can be divided into three. At superior, that is called Utkrishtam, and medium, madhyamam, and nikrishtam, inferior. So 3 level is created for our understanding. And from these 3, the first one, superior sattvika or superior vaikrita ahankara. So from superior vaikrita ahankara, manas evolute. So the mind comes. This mind is individual mind. Now, this mind is individual mind. The ahankara we translated as, we can see, cosmic egoism. It is in cosmic level. Now from cosmic level, the Vaikrita Sattvika part has developed into 3, the superior, medium or inferior to define it. From the superior part of Sattvikam, this manas, the individual mind, appears. Now mind works as a knower of all sense organs and the function of sense organs and interior function and outer function. So both mind is the knower. So therefore it is connected to sattva. Okay, then 5 jnanendriyas. Now this jnanendriyas, the 5 powers of cognition or 5 sense organs. So now these 5 sense organs has the special characters to create the 5 types of cognitions, as sound, touch and all those. And this is the base of all the functions of mind. All the functions, I mean, from this we create new karmas. From this we have samskaras, the habitual samskaras, the habits, and the vasanas, and the repetition of all this again when rebirth. The basis of this is the 5 sense organs. Therefore, these are connected to sattvika. Where there is knowledge or where there is any function of knowledge, we bring sattvika there. According to Sankhya, without sattva, no knowledge can happen. If something happens, it is connected to sattvika. Therefore, these 5 sense organs or powers of cognition. Why it is translated as powers of cognitions? Because again, these 5 organs are not separated from the central energy. The central energy of body or mind is diverted into 5. Therefore, when we see one special type of energy is working through the eyesight, so that power is called sense organ. The eye is only the gross seat for that. The sense organ is different from the eye what we see. Eye is a physical manifestation and the sense organ is mental manifestation. So therefore this difference is there. So this power of seeing or power of sight is functioning through eye. So therefore it is called power of cognitions. This is all technical, no just like we are studying something very technically how it works. Now because this is working like this, now we have to bring Prakriti everywhere. Prakriti is the ultimate cause. So from that we get all these energies and elemental creation and mental creation and all these functions of sense organs and that. Therefore the energy is connected there. And this energy is functioning because of the reflection of consciousness. Consciousness is here in Sankhya or even in Vedanta, consciousness is not energy. Consciousness is helping energy to function in a certain way and get the information formed or the cognition formed. So like the sunlight is helping for the other function of other manifestations of the creation. Similarly, consciousness is not creating energy or diverting energy or using energy. Consciousness is only as a reflection, it is there, its presence is there, but energy is created in Prakriti. So this is how we learn from science how the energy is created, a solar energy or other energies. A similar thing is mentioned here. There the consciousness connection and all those are not there, but here because of that it happens. If there is no consciousness, intellect cannot work and mind cannot work and sense organs cannot work, because for what purpose they will work. Therefore consciousness is there. So these 5 sense organs can be called as sense organs or sense functions or the 5 powers of cognition. It's a different kinds of translation for clarity. Similarly, the karma indriyas, 5 karma indriyas from inferior part of sattva, the Vaikrita, Ahankara, inferior part of sattva, 5 karmendriyas come. Therefore, these karmendriyas have least cognition. It means karmendriyas not working for cognition, but some sensation is there. Therefore, indriya, it is called indriya, the 5 powers of action. So similar theory is applied here. Now after that comes Tejasa, predominantly as Rajasa. Okay. So as it named, energizing. The Tejasa is energizing because Rajoguna is energy here. And Rajoguna has no separate creation. Rajoguna is not evoluting into any form. Unlike Sattva and Tamas. So activates both, because for Sattva we need energy, for Tama also we need energy to create. So this energizing part is called Taijasa, that Rajasika. And then comes Bhudati, the Tamasa. Bhudati is called Tamasa, originator of elements. The word itself gives the meaning. Bhudadi Bhudana Mati, the originator of elements. The 5 Tanmatras. The 5 Tanmatras created from Ahankara's Bhudadi part. So now this Vaikritam, Taijasam and Bhudadi, we are not really going to use this word again. Not much used here, but it is named as it is. In the sutras also it is there. There is one sutra, Sattvigam Ekadashakam Pravartade Vaikritad Ahankara. A similar sutra is there in Sankhya Sutra 218. The same thing is described there. But other than these 2-3 places, we are not using this Vaikrita, Bhudati and the Taijasa, these words. It's, only here we just understand what it is. Now what is already explained is said in this 25th sloka. सात्विक एकादशः प्रवर्तते वैकृतादहङ्कारात् सात्विक एकादशः प्रवर्तते वैकृतादहङ्कारात् भूतादेस्तन्मात्रः सत्तामसस्तेजसादुभयम् भूतादेस्तन्मात्रः सतामसस्तेजसादुभयम् Now we'll see just the translation of this 25th Karika. Sattvika is translated as partaking of sattva, in which the sattva is dominant. That is sattvika. So, ekadashah 11-fold. Vaikritad ahankarat pravartate. So, Vaikrita Ahankara, the modified by the predominance of Sattva. So, it is not translation, it is a definition. So, it is defined as Vaikrita modified by the predominance of Sattva. It is mentioned here because this word is always confusing. So, it is mentioned here an older term conveying the same sense as Sattika. It is not anything special. The same as we say Sattika or Vaikrita is the same. And then comes Ahankarat. Ahankarat, from Ahankara, from the Ahankara, the source of the elements. Now the Ahankara is the source of the elements. Not only for elements but also for sense organs, in which the tamas is dominant. Bhutate, the Bhutate, the Bhutati is a name of Ahankara, in which the tamas is dominant. It's also an older term of conveying the same sense as Tama, originator of elements. And then Tanmatras, it having tamas dominant in it. So tamasaha is all the tanmatras, 5 elements, the cause of 5 elements, 5 tanmatras that we have already seen in the last Karika. So 5 tanmatras are subtle rudiment of sound, touch, form, taste and smell. So these are the 5 tanmatras. Then Tejasad Ubhayam. It said Tejasad, from Tejasa. This is also an old name like Tejasa. The stimulating momentum is dominant. Here Tejasa, in the word meaning is Tejasa means bright. So this brightness is connected to energy. So therefore, Rajasa it is. So here, because it is not clearly stated that Rajasa has no creation, but we have to suppose that Rajas has no creation. It is only resulting with both of this, connecting with both the Sattika and Tamasa. So out of Rajas we have no creation. Therefore, so we have to understand this Rajas is energizing both the sides. So Raja can be said as efficient active cause. Efficient active cause for both. Now, Raja, when we say it is like an action or creation or activity. But this Raja, this particular Raja, is a reflected Raja. So when I say reflected, we should remember the consciousness is reflected there. This, because this is after Mahattattva. So whatever comes after Mahattattva has the reflection of consciousness. Inactive consciousness. Asankhya. So therefore we can say the efficiency of this Raja is connected to consciousness and the action is connected to Prakriti. Because Sankhya says Prakriti, only Prakriti acts. No, consciousness has no action. But consciousness is knower in this sense, because the knowing or knowledge is connected to consciousness. Therefore, we can say this Raja, although it is energizing both Sattva and Tama, this has an efficiency of action. So, activating Sattva and activating Tama. Similarly, the same theory can be added to Sattva also. The Sattva also has an efficiency of consciousness, because consciousness is also reflected in Sattva. And similarly, the Tama. Tama also has this efficiency of elements. So it is creating elements. But the action in Tama and Sattva is because of Raja. That is what this Sankhya says. And this theory is different from Vedantic theory. Because in Vedanta, we have different creation from Rajas. So Rajoguna also is creating. Sattva also creating and Tama also. Three of these gunas are creating different kinds of, like prana and all those comes from Rajoguna, according to Vedanta. But Sankhya says Rajoguna has no creation. It is an activator of both the gunas. But efficiency is there. Efficiency is now we are connecting the efficiency to consciousness. Like when water is warm, the character of water is cool. If we see water is warm, then we can say either it was in sunlight or it was in fire. Otherwise, water cannot be warm. It is how we understand that. Similarly, here, if the Raja is not there, Sattva and Tama cannot work. If they are in action, it means Raja is giving the energy. So the inactive form of consciousness is activated. So taking the form of action through Rajas. And therefore we bring the reflection here. So the 20th Karika, what we learned, the reflection theory, it is all continued here. Therefore these Karikas are not separated from that. You have to always remember that, how this goes like that. After maybe 14th Karika or 41, we will be more clear about this theory, how the consciousness is reflected into Prakriti, and after the reflection, this creation happens. Just now, as I mentioned, we have to bring karma theory here in connection with creation, because without karma, no creation is possible. Therefore, karma, when we see karma, where the karma is created? Karma is not created in earth or water or fire or air or ether. It's not in these 5 elements. Karmas are created in mind only. These are the objects for karma. In these 5 elements, or in the mixture of 5 elements, different various combination of 5 elements, we create karma. But karma is always connected to mind or mind's function. And there the mind has this conscious reflection. The consciousness is reflected. Therefore, mind is conscious. So this should be remembered in this Sankhya. This is a special theory of creation of Sankhya, which differ from all other system. Vedanta is very near to this system, but in this case of Raja, Vedanta has a creation from Rajas, but this Sankhya, they say Rajas has no creation. Now, the next Karika, 26th Karika, Indriyas are enumerated. So now we have Ekadasha Indriya, the first creation of Vaikrita Ahankara, Ekadasha Ganaha. So now what are these Ekadasha? The 11 different creation of Ahankara, that is enumerated here. We already know this from many other sources, but here it is there. Buddhindriyani Chakshusrotra Ghrana Rasana Tvagakhyani Vakpanipadapaayupasthan Karmendriyanyahuhu. So, Buddhindriyani, the sense organs, Chakshu, Srotra, Ghrana, Rasana, Tvak, Akhyani. So, the Indriyas or powers of cognition, that they are called eyes, Chakshu, Srotram, ears, Granam, nose, Rasana, tongue, and Tvak, skin. Then comes Karmendriyani, the powers of action, that is speech, vak, Pani, hands, Pada, feet, Pada, Payu. The Payu is organ of excretory organ, and organ of generation is called Upastha. So Karmendriyani Ahu. So these Indriyas or powers of action is called Karmendriyas. So this is just a translation, there is no need for any explanation, but we will see some special explanation of this Payu and Upastha. These two organs are explained in different way, that we will see later when it is connected with the objects of this Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas. Okay, so today we will stop here. Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.